Hi guys, I'm up in Vermont. I borrowed an empty lean-to for a little video. Uh, this is a little program. It's not a workout, but it's a nice little program. It's something you need. Okay, so we'll go through it, make sure everybody understands it. And this would be a workout to do when your body's feeling really beat up, really sore, really tired. And I've given you a few of these, but um, you know, as I think about different people's injuries and whatnot, sometimes I revamp these, and some of this is just because of how I feel right now from being in the car. So we're going to start with the classic pumps, down dog, up dog. In the workout, I put 5+, so at least 5. Right? So from a push-up position, remember hands and feet don't move. We just hips high, drop the head through the shoulders, and our armpit towards our toes. Let the heels fall as far as they can. That's your down dog. Back to push up. And upward facing dog. And we can look over the shoulder and you see how the hip dips. When I do that, I kind of reach a little deeper through that side of my hip flexor. Come back up. We can actually increase our stretch here, reach back through, look up under the armpits. Kind of get a little rotational twist in there. Right. And there's no right or wrong. If you need to come down and rest on your legs, you can. But you can get more stretch if you just stay up. You can pedal. You can reach deeper into one calf, one hamstring at a time. Keep moving the shoulders backing away from your ears, regardless whether we're here or here. We don't want shruggy. We want the shoulders to sink. Let the head get away from those ears. So you shouldn't be jacked up here, but let the shoulders sink into the socket. Okay, so we probably did a good 5 pumps. And now we're going to walk this back. And we can go right into gorilla squats. I'm going to center myself up here so you can see. With the gorilla squat, remember, you're grabbing your toes. Get your feet wide, turn the toes out a little bit, but grab the toes and keep your elbows straight and pull with your upper back, right? So I'm using my back muscles to help pull myself down into this squat. And then when I come up, I'm going to push. I can put my fingers down or just use my knuckles here and just push into the floor. And that helps me stretch out. So pull down, get nice and tall, pull those shoulders back, maybe make sure your neck's clear, press through the floor, come on back up. Big stretch in the hamstrings. I'm going to do this again from the side. And the workout calls for at least 5. So I'll do a few more. And then we're going to move on to an old favorite, yoga in a can, which is its own mini yoga flow inside this little training session, we'll call it. So I'm just kind of letting things get looser and looser. Each time I pull down, I can slide back a little bit deeper. My neck feels a little bit looser. You just want to keep playing with that. Again, 5 or more. Maybe you feel like doing 8 because they feel good. So yoga in a can, remember, we start by bringing the knee up into a hug. We want to do some circles with our ankles in both directions, clockwise, counterclockwise. 3, 4, 5, doesn't really matter. That leg then forward lunge, opposite hand. So my left leg's forward, right hand's coming to the floor, right across from that foot. I'm going to take my left hand, so forward leg side, place that over the right. I'm going to drop the elbow down towards my arch, instep, ultimately trying to get my forearm on the floor. Okay. Now you can rock around with this. Okay, play with it. Hopefully your foot's relatively straight in the back. You don't want to turn out. You want to try and keep those feet straight ahead. Right. From here we're going to windmill up. I'm going to open that way up. Now, as you're looking at your left hand here, close your left eye, find the hand with your right eye, and then try to open up from there and keep view of that hand. So, if your right arm's up, close your right eye, find the hand with your left eye. Get a little more rotation. I come down between the foot and the hand. I'm going to reach through and back. Like I'm almost trying to grab my ankle here. And a stretch. I'm going to slide my right hand back for balance. I'm going to straighten the knee, squeeze the quad, pull up on the toes, let the back heel sink. Big stretches for the back of the leg. Come forward, turn it around. Same thing on the other side. So big knee hug, ankle rolls. Really try to make some nice circles here. I got lots of clicks and pops in mine. Big lunge, opposite hand to the floor. Bring that other hand across the top and try and get your elbow down to the floor. If you can. If you can't, if you're stuck here, that's okay. Eventually in time, you'll get there. I started doing some of these stretches, honestly, back in the late 80s, 90s, maybe even mid 80s. There you are. So again, right arm's up, right eye's closed, left arm or left eye finds the hand, and we just rotate back. So we're not getting any false flexibility. We're actually working T-spine rotation here. Reach through. Fun little stretch there. And then the big calf stretch here. Make sure that back foot stays straight for this. Pull up on those toes. Use your hand for a little extra stretch, but it's all back of the leg, back of the leg. And you come up and we're going to do it again. Now, the workout calls for 3 of these or more. Again, if it feels good, do extra. Now, another way we can do the knee hug, so we get the basic knee hug and the ankle rolls here. Another one we can do is sort of like a tree, but we can do this knee hug. Even give a stretch down before we do our lunge, right? So it would look a little bit like this. So big leg cradle, pull up, and the idea here is to get more stretch through that hip, and then out, down, into your elbow to the floor, your windmill up, left arm, left eye closed, find it with your right. Reach through, calf stretch. And then we reverse. So this time we're doing the leg cradle instead of the hug. It's, it's a personal preference depending on what's aching in your body, and even spending a moment to stretch this down and open through the front of the hip, but just pulling up here, like so, can be an interesting stretch in that hip. Everybody's going to feel it a little bit differently, so, try both. Move through stretch. So I could throw my arm back, that's great shoulder, but I'm working on upper spine here, right? On my golf swing, my tennis swing, my baseball swing. So by closing this eye, it forces true mobility through the chest, shoulders, upper back. Right? Reach through. And then that calf stretch. And I'm just bringing my support hand back for some balance. Make sure the back foot's straight. Straighten the knees, pull up on those toes. Not too much straight, big stretch. Okay, one more. And I'm going to go back to the regular knee hug. Here you want to try and get, again, as high as possible. Get some ankle rolls in. The lunge, opposite end of the floor, forearm to instep or to the floor. Windmill up. Big reach through. Calf stretch. And one more time on the other side. Knee hug. Ankle rolls. You might hear I'm starting to get a little bit out of breath, right? This is a little bit strenuous. That's about 90. I think I heard 94, 95 up here right now. We get a little breeze. Very humid. Maybe not as humid as it typically gets in Connecticut, but pretty humid. I've currently got a bone-in pork shoulder sitting on top of the fire, and beer and onions. Going to be pulled pork later. All right, so after yoga in the can, we've got the straight bridge, right? And this is one we should all know by now. Some subtle nuances again. We don't want to be way back here, splayed wide. We want to try and keep our hands in closer to being almost under our shoulder, right? So here, yes, here, no. Okay? Try to get in tighter. Pelvic tilt, right? So tuck tailbone under. So tight low belly, squeeze the glutes, roll the shoulders back, drive them into the floor, and lift. And then lower. We're doing at least 8 of these. Really focus on what's happening with the shoulders. If you have to over-exaggerate in the beginning, do that. Right? Feel it move. Feel it move. Tighten, 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 tighten. Boom. Everything from the back of your arms through your ankles, right? Boom. Boom. Tight. Pelvic tilt. Now, if your hands bother you, just change position, right? Eventually, you'll be able to go hands back, hands forward, whatever, and it won't hurt. But, ankle mobility is part of this exercise. I like the fingers forward a lot of times because it gives my elbows a really nice stretch. It seems to help with my tendonitis issues. It's harder, however, to get the shoulder back, right? So for most of us, pointing the fingers back helps us roll the shoulder back into the right position, right? Where here, we really got to think our way through back and down, okay? So just be wary of that, get the shoulders back and down. Now the bicycle crunch, 8 reps or more, and remember the straight leg, right? You're pushing through the heel, like you're trying to knock a wall down. You're an inch or 2 off the floor. The other leg is coming up and across towards the shoulder, and you're bringing that shoulder blade up towards that knee, okay? So that's the move, and it's slow. These typically are done in a torturous fashion. So here to here, really pushing through that leg, really pushing through, squeezing up, shoulder blades off the floor. Exhale up, inhale back, exhale up. It's a short breath cycle. And it should be no faster than this. These reps should not be any faster. Squeeze, push. You should feel your glutes as you straighten that leg fire up. Squeeze there. The abs work harder on the opposite side. Squeeze. So as you do this a little slower, you're going to feel a better workout through your abs. Now, we're moving on to the short bridge, and that's a hold for time. I put 30 seconds up there with a plus. It could be longer, should be longer. How long do you go? How do you count it? Don't set a timer, just kind of follow along here. I'm not sure how long this will run, we can check the video later. So, pull my feet up, feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. I'm going to do a pelvic tilt. I'm going to lift my hips up, sort of like a glute bridge, sort of. Hands, I'm going to come underneath my body. I'm going to interlace my fingers, right? And then straighten the elbows. Okay, this is base. Now, try this. I'm going to pop up and roll the shoulder under. And same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to squeeze even tighter through the backs of my arms and my butt cheeks. Right? Make sure the pelvic tilt is strong. You don't want to feel this at all in your low back. If you're like here, you might feel in your low back. You want to really be pushing, like you are trying to push these hip bones back. Right? So again, roll the shoulders under, squeeze down. Now, try to breathe in through your nose and fill your belly. As you exhale, make sure you're squeezing your glutes. You'll push deeper into the stretch. Squeeze your triceps. So we've already managed probably 40, 45 seconds here. I'm squeezing my shoulders together, really squeezing my hands into the floor, pushing my hips up as high as I can, and just trying to breathe in through the belly. That's the short bridge hold. From there, we're going to go to dead bugs. If you have a stability ball, by all means, please use it. It will give you more of an abdominal workout. And you would just put the ball between the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers like so, right? And then the dead bug would be the same, except now you've got the ball you're holding here as you lower your opposite arm and leg and back up. But with either version, think about trying to keep your tailbone off the floor as you lower the opposite leg, right? Try to get the calf muscle here to touch the floor before your heel, right? So pull back on the toes and straighten the knees. And I'm pulling up hard here, right? And then the opposite arm goes down and same side arm stays straight up. And so, dead bug. Again, stability ball forces a little bit more squeeze this way, right, to hold the ball. So you tend to get a little bit better ab workout, I think, without thinking as much. Here, you really got to think about keeping your tailbone off the floor. Oops. Keeping your tailbone off the floor. Get the calf all the way down so you're squeezing the glute. Squeezing the glute. Lower, lower, and get that arm flat, right? So there's your dead bug. I think we want at least 8 on each side. All right, and then from there, we finish with a simple-ish stretch, the twist and hold. And again, same idea, time-wise on each side, I'd spend at least 30 seconds. 5 to 8 deep belly breaths will be that, right? So if you're really tight, you're gonna slide here. I'll show you this side first. You'll slide the foot up above the knee on the same side. And we're gonna do this, we're gonna hug. So my left knee's up, I'm gonna bring my right arm around, I'm gonna hug around my shin. And that lets me kind of pull into my knee. Now, if your belly's in the way, move it and get in tight, right? You know, if I've had a big meal, it's in the way. And I was called a skinny guy the other day. So, we all have a little belly. Just slide it. Pull. It's going to pull you tall. See that? You don't want to be slumped. You want to pull yourself tall into that knee. The free hand's going to come back behind you like so. And it's going to lock at the elbow. And you're going to push that shoulder down and back just like you're doing a straight bridge. And it's going to help you turn and get taller. Then you breathe into your belly. And see if you can't go a little bit further into the stretch. Maybe you can move this hand back a little bit further. And like with the straight bridge, you don't want the hand way back here. You want to try and keep it under your shoulder. Pull in tighter, pull back. Now, if this is too easy, or you want a little bit more stretch, the intermediate, I guess, version, we're going to bring foot across, still above the knee. Now, it's important that both sits bones stay on the ground. If they don't, you're not ready for this position, okay? Now, this time, let's see if I can get you a better angle here. Same idea. I'm going to hug and pull myself in tall. Now, as I'm getting more advanced with the stretch, one of the things I want to think about is where this hand ends up. And ideally, we want it behind the straight leg hip. Right, so way back here, not over here, here. Right, so I'm going to try and place it back there. I'm going to get my hug real tight, pull myself tall, straighten my arm and drive my palm into the floor. Now this is the stretch, and it feels like you're elongating in the spine with the rotation. Now, here, you get here. Big in through the nose, fill the belly, let it out. As you let it out, try to pull and push deeper into the stretch. One of the muscles we're relaxing here is your diaphragm. Diaphragm connects the whole body. So getting it to loosen up, loosens up things around the ribs and the spine, and will let your back and your shoulders move better, your lower hips, or your hips and low back will move better. So the twist and hold, great stretch. It's a good standalone stretch if you're feeling tight. But that was a short little workout that'll make you feel like you did something. And you'll know it was really good for you because nobody does enough of this kind of stuff. So y'all get it done. I'm going to go play with the red squirrels and check on my pulled pork. Peace out.